For more than 2 centuries, the United States Congress has played a crucial role not only in creating laws but also in investigating matters of national importance. Congressional investigations are one of the oldest and most powerful oversight tools in the American political system. They allow lawmakers to examine government actions, review public policies, identify failures, and propose solutions. This script explores how these investigations work, why they are conducted, and how they have shaped major historical events. Congressional investigations are rooted in the idea of checks and balances. The Constitution grants Congress the authority to oversee the executive branch and ensure that public institutions follow the law. Although the Constitution does not explicitly mention the word investigation, the power is implied within its legislative responsibilities. Over time, the Supreme Court confirmed that Congress does indeed have the authority to summon witnesses, request documents, and compel testimony when necessary. Investigations may begin for many reasons: concerns over national security, questions about federal spending, allegations of mismanagement, or simply the need to clarify how specific programs operate. Committees are the backbone of this process. The House and Senate both have permanent committees dedicated to issues such as intelligence, finance, foreign affairs, homeland security, and government oversight. These committees often initiate inquiries based on public reports, whistleblower information, or internal reviews. One of the earliest major congressional investigations occurred in the 19th century during the administration of President James Buchanan. Congress investigated corruption within the Interior Department and the misuse of public funds. This early example demonstrated Congress's willingness to examine executive agencies even during politically sensitive moments. The goal was not only to identify wrongdoing but also to recommend reforms that could restore public trust. Moving into the 20th century, congressional inquiries became more frequent and more influential. Perhaps the most famous example is the investigation conducted by the Senate Watergate Committee in the 1970s. This inquiry examined a series of illegal activities connected to the 1972 presidential campaign. The televised hearings captured national attention and revealed critical information that led to key legal actions and the eventual resignation of President Richard Nixon. Watergate remains a defining moment in American political history and solidified Congress's reputation as an essential guardian of democratic accountability. Another significant investigation was the Iran-Contra inquiry in the 1980s. Congress examined allegations that officials within the executive branch had participated in a secret operation involving arms sales and funding for foreign groups. The hearings showcased the tension between the legislative and executive branches, especially regarding foreign policy and the use of covert operations. The investigation resulted in multiple reports, reforms, and public debates about presidential authority and transparency. In the economic sphere, Congress has conducted numerous investigations into financial crises. During the 1929 stock market crash and the subsequent Great Depression, the Senate Banking Committee launched inquiries to understand the causes of economic collapse and abuses within the financial sector. Decades later, during the 2008 financial crisis, Congress again investigated the practices of major banks, lending institutions, and regulatory agencies. These inquiries influenced reforms such as the Dodd-Frank Act, designed to increase oversight of the financial system. Investigations are not always focused on scandals. Many inquiries seek to evaluate the effectiveness of federal programs. For example, Congress has investigated disaster response operations, vaccine distribution efforts, cybersecurity vulnerabilities, and national infrastructure needs. In these cases, the objective is primarily analytical, understanding what worked, what failed, and what improvements are necessary. In addition to committees, Congress also forms special or select committees to handle issues requiring focused attention. These committees are temporary and dissolve after completing their work. Over the decades, select committees have investigated issues ranging from organized crime to intelligence failures. One of the most well-known was the 9/11 Commission, which, although not a congressional committee itself, was heavily influenced by congressional pressure and relied on extensive cooperation with the legislature. Congressional investigations have an impact far beyond their final reports. They shape public opinion, influence future elections, and often lead to major reforms. They also serve an educational purpose, informing the public about how federal agencies operate. Through hearings, testimonies, and document releases, investigations bring transparency to complex issues that might otherwise remain hidden. This first part has outlined the origins, constitutional basis, and evolution of congressional investigations. The second part will explore the structure of modern inquiries, examine high-profile cases from recent decades, and explain how Congress conducts oversight in an era of increasing political polarization and rapid information flow. Modern congressional investigations operate in a complex environment shaped by technology, media attention, and shifting political dynamics. To understand how these inquiries function today, it is essential to explore the steps involved and how committees transform information into official findings. Most investigations begin with a formal vote within a committee. Once approved, the committee issues requests for documents, schedules interviews, and organizes public hearings when appropriate. Staff members, often experts in law, economics, national security, or public administration, play a major role in analyzing evidence and drafting questions for witnesses. While some inquiries remain confidential, many are conducted in public sessions, allowing citizens to follow the proceedings in real time. One central tool is the subpoena, a legal order requiring individuals to appear before Congress or deliver documents. Although rarely used at the beginning of an inquiry, subpoenas become essential when voluntary cooperation is insufficient. The power to compel testimony highlights Congress's constitutional authority in overseeing the executive branch and other institutions. In the last 3 decades, several investigations have gained national prominence. After the attacks of September 11, 2001, Congress examined intelligence gaps and communication failures between federal agencies. The hearings revealed structural weaknesses and led to sweeping reforms, including the creation of the Department of Homeland Security and changes in intelligence coordination. These investigations demonstrated Congress's ability to address urgent national security challenges. Another widely discussed inquiry involved federal responses to natural disasters, notably Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Congressional committees reviewed emergency management procedures, funding allocations, and the performance of both local and federal agencies. The resulting reports emphasized the need for clearer communication, stronger infrastructure, and more efficient humanitarian support. In recent years, Congress has also investigated cybersecurity threats, foreign interference in elections, and the role of social media platforms in spreading misinformation. These inquiries reflect new challenges in the digital era, where technology evolves faster than legislation. Congressional investigations help define the responsibilities of private companies, assess national vulnerabilities, and propose regulatory frameworks. Economic oversight remains another major area of focus. During the COVID-19 pandemic, multiple committees investigated how federal relief funds were distributed, whether small businesses received adequate support, and how emergency assistance programs were implemented. These investigations aimed to ensure transparency in one of the largest public spending efforts in U.S. history. An important aspect of contemporary investigations is the polarization of political discourse. As parties interpret events differently, some inquiries become points of disagreement. Yet, even in contested cases, Congress continues to serve a vital oversight function. When conducted responsibly, investigations help clarify facts, inform the public, and strengthen trust in democratic institutions. Despite modern challenges, the structure of congressional oversight has remained remarkably consistent. Committees gather evidence, analyze documents, question witnesses, and prepare detailed reports. These reports often include recommendations for new laws, administrative reforms, or changes in federal protocols. Even when investigations do not produce unanimous conclusions, they still provide valuable insight into government operations. Another key outcome of congressional investigations is public awareness. Televised hearings, transcripts, and released documents allow citizens to examine issues directly. This transparency reinforces democratic accountability by ensuring that government decisions can be scrutinized by the people. It also encourages political participation, as individuals become more informed about how institutions address national issues. Ultimately, congressional investigations serve 3 major purposes: understanding what happened, determining whether laws were followed, and proposing improvements. They are not criminal trials, nor do they impose legal penalties. Instead, they function as a democratic tool designed to hold institutions accountable and ensure that public resources are used responsibly. As the United States faces evolving challenges, technological, economic, environmental, and geopolitical, Congress's investigative role remains essential. These inquiries continue to shape public policy, highlight institutional weaknesses, and reinforce the checks and balances that define the American system. Understanding how congressional investigations work allows us to appreciate the complexity of democratic oversight and the importance of transparency in modern governance.